2019 podcast. And today I'm actually doing a screen share, showing my screen, and wanted to make it fairly quick today, but this is pretty interesting stuff. So Google My Business. Let's talk Google My Business today. Google My Business, back in June of 2019, they gave us some options, and one option in particular, to add what they call a Google My Business short name. So basically it's a URL. It is, and the one I chose for this is g.page/Hartzer Consulting. And you do this by going into your Google My Business and you click on Info, and once it comes up, you go down to the @ symbol, and you can edit here, and you can have a profile short name, and you put in that, and you can change it 3 times per year. I'm not going to change it right now. So that is your short name. So what happens is, specifically, you get a URL that basically redirects to your Google My Business listing. Okay, so which is g.page/Hartzer-Consulting. That's fine. And then you actually can get it also has g.page/Hartzer-Consulting/reviews based on your whatever name you choose. Okay, you give that to people, and it's handy and so forth, to give them, basically you can write it down or put it on a business card, or so you get people to leave you a review. All right. Well, I started back in June. I started to look into these and figured out that these are actually 302 redirects, and there were actually these pages were starting to get indexed in Google. Okay. Started to look into it a little bit. G.page is actually a domain name. .page is a new TLD, generic TLD. And you could get, you can register your name .page. Well, that's fine. So anyway, so they're using G.page. Okay. I started to look into what happens when you go there. Well, it turns out that this URL, g.page/Hartzer Consulting, it's just a 302 temporary redirect to a Google search query with a location ID added on to that. So literally, this is the search query it gets forwarded to, with some parameters and so forth, with some tracking parameters and all that. Well, this actually is just a search query. The keyword here, Q equals, is Hartzer-Consulting. And it's associated with the location ID. The location ID is actually the Google My Business listing ID. Okay? That's the Google My Business listing ID tied to this Google My Business listing. Okay, so if we literally take this URL, and I've copied it, and we literally go here and paste it into the address bar, there you have, that's the result. Okay, so you go to g.page/Hartzer Consulting. And the location ID. So that's a proper location ID for this Google My Business listing. But this is a keyword here. What if I change this to, let's say, Walmart Orlando? Okay. Well, it's still tied to this location ID. It's a different search query. Or, SEO Dallas. Okay. Well, what has happened is, originally, we go back to this one. Originally, when you did a search, right when back in June of 2019, and when I originally wrote this particular post, okay, and discovered this, What would literally happen is that because that's a keyword, okay, there's a location ID. The location ID tells Google to show this Google My Business listing on the right hand side, regardless of the keyword that they search for. Well, that actually has changed. So right now, if you just do a search, okay, this is what it kind of looked like without this. Is that actually there was. So you could make, basically, if you hacked the URL, you put the location ID on that, and then you change it to whatever another Google My Business listing. You could actually force Google to show any Google My Business listing for any keyword. They fixed that in the display part of the results. So now, if actually, obviously, if you do a search for Walmart Orlando, you're not going to see Hartzer Consulting because they fixed it in the display. That's, the display part of the results. That's what everybody sees. However, they did not fix it behind the scenes. So here we are, November, okay, 5-6 months later, and this location ID is tied to this Google My Business listing. And if you go to this Google My Business listing and you go to the insights, you will actually see here that the number one search query for this particular business is Walmart Orlando. Okay, is because of the fact that this URL, okay, was changed up. And I believe that Google is picking up this hacked URL because the 15, if you look at this number, 15, it starts 1507, ends in 1746. Okay. If you look down here, 1507, 1746. So basically, this Google search query is tied to that keyword Walmart Orlando, and it also is tied to the Hartzer Consulting, the GMB listing. Okay, so basically, what's happening here is that Google behind the scenes is seeing those links and those search queries, and it could be that because that in October that there were 19 people who clicked on that link, Chicago restaurants and Walmart Canton and Pilates yoga, and so forth. Those are all links in here. Okay, Dallas restaurants, Chicago restaurants, Tampa yoga instructors. That would be related to Pilates, Walmart Orlando, Walmart Canton. Okay, there's no way that this Google My Business listing showed up for any of those queries, but legitimately. So in this case, people actually, so Google is reporting that, and that's because of the location ID was changed in this particular search query URL. So this is not something that you're actually going to get, that the search results actually shows, but in fact is actually something that has some deeper implications here that's, quite interesting to me. So a couple of different cases. Number one, that, somebody could use this as is in fact, well, let's be honest. We don't know whether or not this keyword Walmart Orlando, it's being reported as a query to find this business. And we don't know whether or not that's taken into account in the Google local algorithm in any way. We don't know about, whether they're counting clicks or click-through ratio or search queries or any of that. We don't know that. But the fact that it is showing up in the results, and Google is showing you that, okay, well, people did search for Walmart Orlando, and that's, so it's their data that they have. Their data is bad. And if there's any, and the only reason why Walmart Orlando and Chicago restaurants and Walmart Ken are showing up in Pilates for this Google My Business listing is the fact that because of either those links, or, now granted, Pilates is not in the link, it's yoga. So those queries are having an effect on these 5 months after the fact, that when this is originally posted. Okay, so number 2 is, at a negative SEO point, if that's the case, here's an opportunity for somebody to do negative SEO by changing the search query, adding somebody else's or a competitor's location ID. The location ID is public, so you can get a location ID for any keyword phrase. I mean, attach any keyword phrase to any location ID, and send clicks and traffic, and I could even even do put any keyword in here, okay, and because there's a location ID, and then this traffic that I'm doing right now here, and so forth, that that is probably, that's causing Google to record it somewhere, okay, because there's a location ID attached with that. So the fact of the matter is that any keyword could be attached to that, and any location ID can be attached to that search query. So sending traffic, sending clicks, sending that search query is going to show up in there. Classic case of potential referral spam. Okay, right, directly injected into local businesses, and some local businesses only get, like I said, this is 20 searches. 10, 20, it only takes less than 10 searches to show up in the list. The other part is, we don't know whether or not this has any, these queries and have anything to do with, Google's algorithm and clicks and what their people are found for and so forth. We don't know. So that said, I haven't done any testing on this, but I do know is that in this case, the concern is that there's no possible way that this business in Texas, Hartzer Consulting, was found for a search query Walmart Orlando in the past month 19 times. It just would not happen. And the only explanation here is the fact that there are links to that search query, and either people clicked on those links 19 times, possibly, but again, or those clicks, and they recorded those. It could be. There's a lot of interesting things that could happen here. So I'm going to call it short, and not be on here too much longer for today's podcast. If you have questions, you can get in touch with me. Any questions, about this or SEO audits or any Google My Business listing questions, again, take a look at my Google My Business short names post. I know this was back in June 24th when they released that, but it's worth a look again, because 5 months later these are showing up as search queries and so forth. So that said, this has been the Bill Hartzer podcast for November 14th, 2019. You can reach me at hartzer.com. My blog is billhartzer.com. Also, you can find me on Twitter as well, twitter.com/bhartzer, and or Google my name, or look for Hartzer Consulting. So that said, thanks for joining me today, and we will talk to you again next week.